What's up, book nerds? Lee by Yevgeny Zamyatin. This is like a precursor to Orwell's 1984. This is actually a like a mute for George Orwell. You actually see this a lot in the where got ideas or how it influenced. But before we get to that, if you like anything I do, wherever you find me, TikTok, and YouTube, whatever, give me at least a thumbs up or a follow. I'd appreciate it. Whether it's these things or my shit posting, please give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. Anyways, back onto this. This was written in between 1920 and 1921. It was never published in Russian until 1988. This He was a socialist Russian during the Stalin's era. Um, and this was a tough read. I do recommend this read, uh, especially if you've read 1984 or any Orwellian books. Uh, this was, like I said, definitely see where the where he was influenced by Yevgeny. Because why this is a tough read, because half the time I couldn't tell if, because this is all from the perspective of a character called D503. So basically, dystopian future. Uh, they live inside this walled city and constantly monitored. They like 1984. They have to do specific things at specific times. They even have like ticket sex for sex hours. They live in buildings that are glass cubes. The only time they're allowed to close like their blinds on the glass tubes during sex time. Um, and I can't really tell the the writer or the perspective of who you're going from, like mentioning his monkey hands. I can't tell if they're like monkey type people or uh it's a metaphor or it's just hyperbole. I can't really tell. It's just super confusing. Like I said, there's like a lot of stuff like the main character starts losing shit because he gets like an imagination. Like everyone's just supposed to be like a dull drone that just does what the master said. I forget what, like it's some name, kind of like Big Brother and I. Um, but yeah, there's like a faction of people that love or just like find out like I have an imagination. It's behind by and there's like this uprising and the uprising gets outside of the wall and like they live, which that doesn't happen that often. In our main character, like it's a taste of that, and like I said, it's very 1984. Read 1984, you'll understand what I said, and if you end up reading this book or you read this book, exactly what I'm talking about. Ending very sim. Um, but there's also one thing while reading this book is I don't know if anyone's ever seen Librium, but it's it feels more like that with how their dystopian future, like art, you're not really supposed to have feelings except for like kind of like a mechanical joy for the higher up. But yeah, read this really wasn't published until 1927. It wasn't, like I said, they didn't even publish it in Russia until 8. Written in 1921. Uh, yeah, I don't know if it was a translation. I bet you something had to do with Russian to English and then to other languages. But it's still, I mean, something that's written in 1921, some of the ideas and the things that are going on are still in 2025 here, just like Orwell's 1984. You see parallels, right? And that was written almost 100 years ago, or a little over 100 years. So, a little spooky, you know. Um, I highly recommend people especially if anyone's ever read it. Yeah, We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. I said it right the first, but for some. But anyways, go read, nerds. I don't know why. All right, bye, motherfuckers.